All right, let's get right into it. In today's landscape, how fast and how reliably you deliver software isn't just an IT metric, it's a core driver of your business's value. In this briefing, we're going to break down how you can build that strategic advantage by architecting a modern CI/CD pipeline.
So, let's start with a really important question for you and your teams. Does shipping a new feature feel like a total traffic jam? Full of manual steps, late-night deployments, and always that risk of a major pileup that just grinds everything to a halt? Or does it feel more like an open highway, where new value just flows smoothly and predictably right to your customers? If you feel like you're stuck in that traffic jam, you're definitely not alone. But there is a much, much better way.
So over the next few minutes, we're going to map out that journey. We'll start with the bottlenecks everyone feels. Then we'll introduce this idea of the automation highway. We'll look under the hood at the pipeline's architecture, talk about the real business payoff, and finally, chart a path for how you can scale this whole capability.
So first up, let's really diagnose the problem. We call it the old way, and it's full of these painful development bottlenecks that, frankly, have a direct and negative impact on the business.
This right here really lays out the two different worlds. On the left, you've got the traditional model. We're talking big, infrequent, super high-risk deployments. Every single release is this massive event, probably with planned downtime. And when you find bugs this late in the game, they are exponentially more expensive and difficult to fix. Now look at the right. That's the CI/CD world. Small, tiny updates pushed out on demand with automated continuous testing. This isn't just about being a little more efficient. It's a complete strategic shift that crushes your risk and lights a fire under your speed to market.
Okay, so let's shift gears and talk about the solution. We are leaving that traffic jam behind for good and building what we call an automation highway. And it's all powered by the principles of CI/CD.
The absolute foundation of this highway is continuous integration, or CI. Basically, instead of working in isolation for weeks, developers merge small, manageable code changes into a central repository multiple times a day. And every single time they do that, it automatically kicks off a build and a whole battery of tests. The strategic goal here is simple but powerful. Find any integration problems immediately, not weeks down the road when they've turned into a tangled mess that can derail an entire project.
Now, building on top of CI, we get to continuous delivery. This just extends that automation even further. Every change that passes the tests gets packaged up and ready for release. Now, the crucial point here is that the software is always in a state where it could be deployed. The final push to production, that's a manual button press, which means it becomes a business decision, not a technical scramble. Your product manager can decide to release a feature based on market timing, giving you this perfect blend of speed and strategic control.
And this is the pinnacle of automation for many organizations, continuous deployment. The pipeline is pretty much identical to continuous delivery, but that final manual trigger, it's gone. If a change passes every single automated quality check, it goes straight to production. No human intervention needed. This really represents the highest level of trust in your automated testing and your quality gates, and it allows for a pace of innovation that's just, well, it's unmatched.
So we get the concepts. But what does this automation highway actually look like? What's the architecture? Let's take a look inside a modern pipeline. Okay, so it all kicks off with a trigger. A developer commits their change. Instantly, the pipeline jumps into action like an automated quality control inspector, running a series of pre-flight checks. If those pass, it builds the software into a deployable artifact. Then comes the real heart of the process, a comprehensive suite of automated tests. And only after passing every single one of those tests does the change move on to that final deployment stage, which, like we said, can be a manual business decision or fully automated.
Now, the engine that makes this smooth, continuous flow even possible is a practice called trunk-based development. This is what helps you avoid that merge hell that so many teams get stuck in with long-lived, isolated feature branches. Instead, all your engineers are committing small, frequent changes to one single shared branch, the trunk. This practice is really the bedrock of true continuous integration, making sure your code base is always stable and always releasable. Let's just double-click on these pre-flight checks, because this is where the magic of failing fast really happens. Before we even spend a dime on compute resources for a full build, we run these lightning-fast scans. Static analysis hunts for potential bugs, linting makes sure the code is clean and readable, and, this is critical, security scanning, or SAST, looks for known vulnerabilities. This is the whole idea of shifting left. You're catching quality and security issues right at the beginning, which saves an enormous amount of time, money, and reduces enterprise risk. It also bakes continuous compliance right into your workflow.
So, we've talked about the technical architecture, But as leaders, what we all really care about is the business impact. So what's the actual strategic payoff of building this automation highway?
Well, the strategic outcomes are huge. First, faster value realization. Your ideas become features in production in hours or days, not months. Second, reduced deployment risk. Small, tiny updates are just inherently safer than those big bang releases, which drastically lowers the chance of a major outage. Third, you get a huge boost in DevOps efficiency. You're automating all that repetitive manual work, which frees up your most valuable assets, your engineers, to focus on actual innovation. And all of this leads to improved scalability and reliability, which builds a rock-solid foundation for growth and creates way tighter feedback loops with your customers.
You know, Steve Pereira from the DevOps Institute just captures the cultural vibe of this shift perfectly with this phrase: all focused on the flow of value all the time. It means your entire system, your tech, your processes, your culture, it all becomes laser-focused on just one thing: shortening the time it takes to get an idea into the hands of a paying customer.
And this creates this incredibly powerful, virtuous cycle. We deploy a feature, and through integrated monitoring and observability tools, we get immediate data and feedback on how customers are actually using it. That data then immediately informs the next idea or the next tweak, which flows right back into the top of the pipeline. This tight feedback loop is the real engine of agile innovation. It's how you outlearn and outpace your competition.
So the case is pretty clear. The question now is, how do you actually build and scale this capability inside your own organization? Let's look at the path forward.
Well, the great news is you are not building this from scratch. There is a rich, mature ecosystem of enterprise-ready tools out there to power your pipeline. Your choice really depends on your current setup. If you're already all in on GitLab or GitHub, their integrated solutions are fantastic. For maximum flexibility, Jenkins is still a powerful open-source beast. And for pure cloud-native performance, you've got tools like Circle CI. The point is, the technology to do this is available, it's robust, and it's ready.
A key leadership question is always, yeah, but will it scale? And the answer is a definitive yes. Scaling the pipeline itself is basically a solved problem in architecture. You can scale horizontally just by adding more build agents as your load increases. You can use containerization with tools like Docker and Kubernetes to create perfectly reproducible and scalable environments. Or you can just let the cloud handle it for you by using services that automatically scale everything on demand. Your pipeline can and absolutely should grow right alongside your business. So, here's the thought I want to leave you with. Your CI/CD pipeline. It is not just some technical process humming away in the background. It is your organization's core engine for innovation. It's what dictates the speed at which you can learn, adapt, and ultimately deliver value. So the question you really need to be asking is your engine built for the speed of tomorrow's market? Hey, if you found this briefing valuable, please share it with your leadership and your engineering teams. And be sure to subscribe for more explainers designed to help you build a strategic advantage with technology. Thanks for watching.